It's with great honor that I welcome you all visitors and members to 10, the Entrepreneurs Network. I trust you all are comfortable and ready to begin today's meeting.
Rahul
I'm Rahul
Lauda.
Amrute, Chairman, shouldering responsibility of current tenure. In my task, I'm ably supported by Manoj Tehliani, the Secretary, Mangesh Patole, the Relationship Manager, and Ram Kumar, who is effectively handling our social media. 10 The Entrepreneurs Network is a not-for-profit organization. The single-minded focus of 10 is to help entrepreneurs from different business fields to come together and succeed. To know more about 10, I would kindly request Mangesh to play a small AV. Yes,
Yeah,
Mangesh.
Rahul. Yeah, Rahul.
Thane, Maharashtra's major industrial town, fastest growing and slated to be the most happening commercial hub. Over the last decade, Thane has grown from a small suburban town to a large, self-sustaining metropolis. Proximity to the financial capital of the country has extended ample opportunities to Thane for becoming the richest district in Maharashtra, with potent factors like well-planned infrastructure and low cost of operation. With growing opportunities and upcoming business ventures comes the growing need for business networking to learn, to explore, to connect, and to share avenues for mutual growth. Welcome to the Entrepreneurs Network, popularly known as 10. Established in 2010 with the intent of providing a platform for entrepreneurs to share their experience, to learn, and to educate fellow entrepreneurs, along with generating business opportunities for mutual growth. Our motto: connect, breakthrough, and prosper.
In 2009, basically, I was totally confined to the four walls of my own retail outlet. Probably that time I was feeling the need to get out of those binded four walls. So there was a business networking group. I joined that, and after 1.5 years, basically, there was some disconnect with that particular group. So we wanted to start something which was more Indianized. We wanted to do something to build a community of entrepreneurs. And in 2010, we started this 10 Entrepreneurs Network.
10 is a close-knit community of different business verticals across industries.
10 ने मुझे अभी जो फ़ायदा मिला है, काफ़ी फ़ायदा मिला है. बिजनेस अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ भी मुझे काफ़ी मिली है 2009 से. ग्रोथ काफ़ी हुआ है.
I love 10 as a network because it is very different from the other business networks what you see, and it has helped me a lot in my overall development for my business, for my relations.
And what I found, people around us are all wanted to grow in their business and help the society around. And I am so happy to join the 10.
After coming here, I found a different friendship, a different support system.
10 members contribute connections, ideas, and time to help 10 grow. Members are rewarded with training workshops, insights, network, and camaraderie offered by other like-minded entrepreneurs. They meet alternate Wednesdays from 7:15 a.m. to 9:45 a.m.
What I liked about 10 is more of a kind of a learning platform. So I learned a lot from 10, through different sessions, different workshops.
What I like about 10 is core functionality, which is continuous learning for entrepreneurs. That is, we can say it is a core function of 10 on which it operates.
10 has been extremely beneficial to me in enhancing my personality and making me equipped to face the challenges as an entrepreneur.
Connecting, breakthrough, and prosper, which is the mantra of 10, is something which I was seeking for in my business career.
10 conducts activities such as 10 Connect session, open minds, outdoor meetings, and annual conclave. 10 Connect session provides a robust platform to its members for learning and sharing experiences, one-on-one interaction, apart from addresses by internal and esteemed guest speakers. 10 Engagement also extends to events such as Open Minds, where established entrepreneurs and business owners are invited to share their life lessons and growth stories while interacting with live audience. It's an event that Thaneites eagerly wait for. Outdoor meetings are fun coupled with learning. It aims at increasing member bonding and interactions beyond regular meetings. It includes site visits, visiting fellow members' workplace, and short outings which are extremely high on fun quotient.
Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, they are exactly following that. That really brings me to here.
Since inception, 10 members have transacted more than 275 crores of business with its members and connects beyond 10. As we move ahead in this path of connecting for mutual growth, we look forward to more heads, more hands, and more hearts to come together. We welcome you to attend the 10 Connect session, to experience entrepreneurial energy, creativity, and motivation.
Let's give our classic 10 clap to 10, which goes 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, twice.
10. The Entrepreneurs Network. Connect, breakthrough, prosper.
Yeah, thanks, Mangesh. So we'll begin today. I would start with the introduction of our speaker. A very good morning to each one of you. Heartiest welcome to today's session. Today our speaker, Mr. Rajeev Athavale sir. It's the second session of him. The first one was why people tend to resist change. It was an amazing session, sir. So Mr. Rajeev Athavale is a management consultant in the space theory of constraints, who teaches and helps to implement, in addition to conducting the training sessions, he has also implemented TOC in various industries like pharma, auto spare parts, ceramics, distribution, construction, manufacturing companies, government training institutes, etc. across Mumbai, Hyderabad, Pune, Bhubaneswar, Ahmedabad, and Kharagpur. He's the publisher of 9 ebooks, out of which some have been translated to European languages like French, German, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, and Catalan. His passion for learning, experimenting, sharing knowledge, and achieving results continues to grow. So today we are here to discuss and on the topic like the art of asking the right questions. I would go one step ahead and term today's session as the art of asking right questions to get the right answers. So over to you, Athavale sir. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot. Okay, I'll start my session. I need the permission to share my screen.
You can share, Rajeev sir.
Okay, good morning to all of you. Okay, I welcome all of you for our today's session, the art of asking the right questions. I am also thankful to 10, okay, the Entrepreneurs Network, to invite me and to allow me to share whatever little knowledge that I gathered about this subject. Do you ask right questions? When this question came up in my mind, my first reaction was, why even bother? Why should we even bother to learn about the art of asking right questions? Aren't we already experts on this? All our life, we have been asking questions and we have been getting answers also, aren't we? Then why even bother? Tell me, since when we have been asking questions? They say it takes 1 to walk and 2 to talk. So at the age of 2, we started talking, and as soon as we got into talking, we gradually developed the habit of asking questions. So why do we bother? There is a reason, very good reason for that. See, we are all born with curiosity. Every kid is curious. We ask endless questions. And then, instead of encouraging us, coaching us in the art of asking the right questions, our parents and school crush our curiosity. We are asked to listen and obey, not ask questions. We are rebuked if the questions are dumb questions. We are discouraged if the questions are too many. First, they get us to walk and talk, and then they want us to sit down and shut up. This is what has been happening to all of us. I'm sure you have experienced that. We are all curious until the world killed our curiosity. The little natural talent that we had, this was the natural talent, it got developed as soon as we started talking. Even that also got killed along. We now live in the world that values answers. We are taught in school to learn how to answer questions in our exams. We are conditioned to focus on finding the right answers rather than figuring out if we are asking right questions. And this reflects in our working life also. We are engaged in finding solutions to whatever problems that are in front of us and not finding out the right problems that really need our attention. Well, while questions and answers by definition are linked together, okay, they are a very different skill set. The ability to find right answers is a valuable skill, no doubt about that. I acknowledge it. I don't deny it. Questions express problems. They stimulate thinking. Answers often signal a full stop to our thought. Thought continues only when an answer generates a further question. So that's why it is very important that we are able to ask right questions. So today, let's shed some light on the importance of the skill that precedes answer, that is the skill of asking the right questions. So here we are. As you know, Dr. Edwards of the Deming said, if you do not know how to ask the right questions, you discover nothing. How true it is. All of us have experienced that. I don't need to elaborate. What I would like to elaborate is on this, that Dr. Eliyahu Goldratt said, an expert is not someone who gives you the answer. It is someone who asks you the right question. Now, what does it mean? If I go to an expert with a question, what do I expect? He will answer my question. And instead of answering my question, if he asks me another question, what does it mean? It only means that he is provoking me to think more. He is helping me to find out the right answer. So asking this question by an expert, he could easily give me an answer, and that's the end of my thinking. He's an expert, I ask him a question, he gave me an answer, that's the end of it. But if he asks me a question which will provoke my thinking, it will linger in my mind, I'll think more and more about it, and maybe I will go back to him with some more questions. So this is what Dr. Goddard meant. Now maybe all of you know that there is what is called Socratic method of asking questions. Socrates, a great philosopher, is known for asking very searching questions. He believed in teaching people by asking questions. What is Socratic method? He thought that people learn best not by being told what it is, but by being guided through questioning to what made most sense. So the guidance is given and not a verbal guidance that, well, this is the thing, you accept it, adopt it, and start following. But he believed that he believed in guiding people by asking questions. And questions direct to what? To what made most sense. See, Socratic method involves two primary processes. One is destructive process and other one is obviously constructive process. Now, just think of it that okay, tomorrow is Sunday morning, maybe your wife or you might want to clean your wardrobe. What you will do? You will take out everything, clean it, and then figure out what you want to keep and what you want to throw away. The similar thing that Socrates does in this destructive process is to identify the things, the thing that we are kept held to or dear to a person, and they are shown to be that they are illogical or unsound. Not by just stating that, look, what you think is illogical. Well, that will actually kill the conversation. But he is shown. How it is shown? By asking questions and guiding him to think. It uncovers the self-deception in our thinking. So that is the destructive process. There is another process which is called constructive process. Once we have cleaned your mind, okay, wrong notions are gone, then the person is encouraged to replace the flawed thinking with logical or justifiable thinking. So these are the two methods, two steps, or two processes followed in Socratic method. So thinking is always driven by questions. If you have more questions, you will think more. Now let us have a look at types of questions. Now, okay, one may say, come on, man, questions are questions are questions, isn't it? What is that types of questions on that? I said, yes, what you say may be right, but just have a look at what I'm going to show you. And you will find that, yes, there are types, and it is important to know what these types are. So I identified about 11 types of different questions, and they help us to get different kind of information. The first type that I would like to talk about is the questions of relevance. The questions of relevance force us to discriminate what does and what does not bear on a question. Now, the important thing is that many times we are tempted when somebody says something, okay, we are discussing on some topic, some subject, and somebody says something, and we feel that it is not really relevant, he's talking something else. So what do? We typically brush him aside, saying that, well, stop this nonsense. You might even use that harsh word and say that this is not relevant. What is recommended is that you ask him a question, because you don't know what was behind that statement that the person made. Well, you think that it is not relevant, but ask him, how does that relate to the problem that we are discussing now? So you get to know his from where he is coming from. He may be having some assumptions, right or wrong, but he may be having some assumptions. Based on that, he is making that statement. So the questions of relevance help us to identify that what is being discussed is really relevant to the issue that you are talking about. There are questions of accuracy. The questions of accuracy actually force us to evaluate and test the truth and correctness. So how could we check on that if we ask? Instead of saying that, I don't think what you say is accurate, we can ask it in this way, that how can we check on that? What you say seems to be good, but how do we check it? How do we find that this is really true? And how could we verify? Or is there a way to test what you said? It could be a hypothesis. So if it is a hypothesis, we can test it, and then we can accept it as a fact or as your theory. So there are questions of accuracy. Then there are questions of precision. Questions of precision force us to give details and be specific, very specific. On the other day, we decided to buy your dishwasher. So my wife searched on the net and identified a couple of them. We discussed the price and all that. And before placing the order, I said, wait, tell me the dimension. Because I know where we are going to place it in the kitchen, but I just want to make it sure, okay, how much space is really required and do we have it? So this is a question of precision, saying that you be more specific, give me more details, I'll go and measure the place and then we'll place the order. So here, sometimes we need exact information for certain decisions. So when we ask those kind of questions, they are questions of precision. Then there are questions of consistency. So when we're discussing something, okay, people talk about various things, and then we sometimes feel that there is some contradictions. So at times we just say that, man, what you're talking is inconsistent, there's a contradiction. you better be clear. Instead of that, there's a way, I would like to share that way with you. And I use that, so that's why I'm saying, you know, some of you belong to my generation and some of you could be of this a couple of generations. But I'm sure most of you might have heard or seen that movie called Padosan, Hindi movie. And there is a famous song, there is a duet or Jugalbandi, if you can call it, between Mehmood and Sunil Dutt. And Sunil Dutt was a bad singer, so Kishore Kumar was doing a playback for him, and that drama went on for some time. And towards the end, there's a commotion. So Sunil Dutt was saying something, and Kishore Kumar was saying something else. So it created commotion for some time, and then Mehmood just stopped him and said, "घोड़ा बोलो या चतुर बोलो, ये घोड़ा चतुर क्या लगाया है?" No, if you are having a serious discussion and it is heating up and you find that people are contradicting themselves, so instead of drawing their attention directly to the contradiction, if you use this kind of humor, well, it will help them. It will create a lighter atmosphere, and then the discussion can continue. So there could be some questions of consistency to make sure that what the person is saying is consistent to what he had said earlier. Then there are questions of logic. The questions of logic force us to consider that the parts make sense together. Because a person may talk a lot, he may give you a lot of information and a lot of thoughts. No, somewhere you feel that they need to check the logic in that. So how do you ask them? You don't say, no, this doesn't seem to be logical, and there are two different things that you have been talking about. Instead of that, you can ask him a question: does all this sense together? Does your first paragraph fits in well with the last paragraph? So you are being specific, drawing the attention, and checking the logic. You are not passing in a statement, you are not passing in a remark saying that this is illogical. So the questions of logic help us to get the logic behind what is being discussed. Then there are questions of depth. Questions of depth force us to understand the complexities and multiple interrelationships. Now, what factors make it difficult problem? I may ask this question. So the person has to elaborate on that. Or I can ask directly. So what are the complexities of this question? What are the various things that are involved that are complex in nature? So when you ask that kind of question, the other person is able to take you to the depth of the problems. And whenever we talk about depth, we also need to look at breadth of the problem, what we are discussing. The questions of breadth force us to know whether all the viewpoints or multiple viewpoints are being considered or not. So we don't have to say, sometimes we are tempted to say, hey, what you are saying is one-sided, it's biased. Instead of that, if you say that it is going to offend the other person, he might think that I have studied this problem and I have come to this conclusion. And now he's saying I'm biased. So you may ask, do we need to look at it from another perspective? And maybe you can specify that perspective. Or you may ask, is there any other point of view to look at the same situation? You might have looked at it, so please tell us. So that way it facilitates the discussion and it helps you in decision making. Then there are questions of significance. The questions of significance force us to make sure that it focuses on the important and not on the trivial many. How do we segregate the vital few from trivial many? You just can't say that, we are talking about 10 things, out of that 8 are trivial, and I think these 2 are the most significant. Please don't do that. Instead of that, ask them a question. Ask them, is this the most important problem to consider? Is this the central idea to focus on? Or which of these facts are more important than others? So that will show the respect to the other person and okay, you will get a proper response from him. Then there are questions of fairness, which sometimes we need to check whether what is being discussed, what decision is being taken is fair or not. So it forces us to make sure that it is justifiable and not one-sided. So see, many times you suspect that this proposal is being made to take care of somebody's vested interest, and you feel that you know about it. So instead of that, you may ask, are you are you sympathetically representing viewpoints of all parties to this issue? You are not taking one side of anybody. So instead of brushing aside saying that you are partial or you are one-sided or there is some vested interest, okay, you can ask this question of fairness. Then there's a question of purpose. Sometimes the discussion is going haywire. You are not very clear about what are we talking about. So instead of asking that, come on, you tell me what is the purpose of this. Now, after having discussed a lot, if you ask for the basic question, okay, it could put off the other person. So you may ask him very politely that what will you achieve by doing this or taking this particular action, or what problem it is going to solve. So that way you are asking him the purpose. Maybe initially he has stated some purpose, and now you feel that he might be deviating from that. So these kind of questions will help you to get him back to the correct purpose. And then lastly, the 11th one is the questions of simple information. You just want to know how much, what, who, where, and kind of thing. So that forces us to look at the sources from where we got. Because if I have to specifically say how much, how many, and all that, so I need to know the source and the quality of that information. It is a hearsay information or it is a real information. So these are the 11 types. Now, why do we even talk about these types? What do we do? Well, we'll come to that little later. But before that, I would like to discuss something more about it. So we need to understand these questions better. Now, one way to understand something better, something of of the same type, but but how do we understand them better? By comparing them. So let us compare open versus closed questions, and we'll compare even more. Now, if I ask you a question, are you okay? So what you will say? Most probably the answer could be yes or no, and that's the end of discussion. But if I ask you, how are you feeling today? It's an open kind of question. So what you will say? What is the tip? What could be the one of the responses could be? Oh well, Rajeev, what happened today morning? When I got up, I was having some headache. So I thought whether it is acidity or the discussion can go on. So this is an open question which makes the person to talk more, to share more. So the closed questions tend to close down the conversation rather than opening up, whereas open questions empower the recipient to answer however they choose. So the person may want to share, may not want to share. It is his choice, but you are showing your openness that you are interested in listening. Then there are questions which are leading questions versus curious questions. Now, leading questions push someone towards giving answer you want or you expect. Okay, just to give you an example here. Supposing I want to ask you this question at the end of this session. What are the main reasons for being my session effective? So this is a leading or loaded question that will make you assume that this my session has been effective. So you will think in terms of what made it effective. But curious question, if I'm curious, I'll ask you how was how was my session? And your answer could be any. That is any possible response. You may say it was good, bad, ugly, or whatever. But that is what it is. So the difference between leading versus curious questions. don't you think it would be better to do this? It is a kind of leading question. And if I ask you, what are your options? So I'm not suggesting anything. I'm not leading you to look at a particular option, but I'm throwing it open to you. So this will provoke more thinking, because when you're saying what are your options, you have to really think and then come out. Then the complex versus simple questions. Overly lengthy questions are too complicated, too complicated. Simplest questions are the most thought-provoking and challenging. Let me give you an example. When you said X, it reminded me of the importance of Y. Given that Z happens and bearing in mind A, B, and C, or okay, how do you see this affecting your priorities with today's changing world? My God, if I ask you this question, it's going to shake you. And if I replace the X, Y, Z, and ABC with some real thing, it will again it could even be more confusing for you. Just let me replace this with something and let us see the fun. If I say, when you said corona, it reminded me of the importance of vaccination, given that you are vaccinated and bearing in mind that this is emergency vaccine, it is not fully tested, and the third wave may come. How do you see this affecting your priorities vis-a-vis today's changing world? My God, this is too loaded, too much, too complex question. And my request to all of you is that let's try to keep it simple. So how do you keep it simple? You say, what's the most important to you right now? Now, what is right now? I may have some background in my mind. I may have corona background. You may have some other background. So we might have to come closer by asking more questions. So if I don't understand your answer, that why you have chosen this, that this is more important for you, I can keep on asking questions. I can I can suggest a different background. Why don't you consider this? Why don't you consider that? But instead of doing that, if I ask this kind of complex question, you stop thinking and you wonder what this man is asking me. Then there are questions of information versus reflective questions. A question whose primary purpose is to retrieve information. It is unlikely to foster deep thought. What happened? If I simply ask, what happened? Nothing. I went there, I did this, I did that, and then I came back. Instead, against that, reflective questions might have little information. However, they can be very powerful for the person receiving it. Now, if I ask, what was your biggest learning from this situation? Yet the person has come out of some situation and yet given you the information as to what happened. Now, when I ask him, what is your learning out of that? It is a reflective question. He will have to reflect upon how he felt when he was going through that, how he felt afterward, what were his thoughts before that. So it will cause him to reflect upon it and give you the answer. There are questions like why, versus what and how kind of question. Why did you do that? When I ask this question to somebody, it depends upon, of course, my tone and how I look at it and my body language and all that. But typically, more often than not, why questions can trigger a defensive response from the recipient, even when you might have asked out of curiosity. Because when I have to answer, I did this because so I'm getting into a defensive mode. So asking why, advice is think twice before asking why. Instead, you may ask this way that what are you trying to achieve? You have done something, so what is that you are trying to achieve? So behind every why, there is a more powerful what or how question. So you may ask what are you trying to achieve, how you did it, how you feel it, and all that, rather than asking why did you do that. It is a bit scary question. The other person might think that you are trying to evaluate. Of course, you might want to evaluate, but you don't want to be in a threatening situation. You don't want him to be defensive. You want him to share with you all his thoughts. So, though the questions that start with why may appear to be most powerful questions, and they are at times, When there's a 5 why tool, you ask a question, why, 5 times, and it might give you the root cause. But at times they might turn out that they aren't that powerful, depending upon situation, depending upon people. Then there are clarifications versus implications of your kind of questions. Clarifications, you may ask, can you give me an example? You are not just made some statement, said something, and you are not very clear about it. So instead of mincing words, what do you mean by this word and that word? You can simply ask for an example. So that could clarify what you meant. Because each one of us has a different vocabulary, and many times we interpret different words differently. So asking this kind of question, that can you give me an example, helps. Or you may ask, what is the source of that idea or information? Maybe you are familiar with that source, and then you'll be able to relate with that. So this type of question forces us to go beyond the minimum and add examples or sources of information. So we, by asking this clarification types of question, it gives you more examples or more understanding of the subject. Then the implications and consequences type of question. What effect would that have? You did something, you took this decision. What effect would that have? Or what do you think, what do you predict will happen next? No, the person might have already thought about it before taking the decision. So he will be able to tell you very clearly. Sometimes we take certain decisions out of emotions. So we are not thought of what is going to happen, what are the implications, what could be the consequences of that. So when you ask this question very politely, that it will provoke thinking. The person might want to share with you what he thought, from where he came, and then with you, he will try to find out what are the implications. There are some other types of questions. A kickstart question, you have met somebody and you want to start some discussion and nothing is happening. So you might just ask him that, what's on your mind? And he may start things, okay, I'm thinking of doing this, or whatever. The focus question, that what's the real challenge here for you? What's the real challenge? So then what you're acknowledging is that you know what he's trying to do, but you want him to focus and discuss more on the challenge that is being faced by him. There's a foundation. What do you want? So the person may say, see, I want this 4 things, 1, 2, 3, 4. And once I have that, then I will have this, then I can do this, I can do that. So that foundation question, it lays down the foundation as to what basically he wants. Starting from that, okay, his logic can be built. There is a lazy question. How can I help? Or what do you want from me? Okay, you want to borrow this iron from me, or you want to borrow this toolkit? Okay, do some work at your end, bring it back. Okay, take it and go. That's a very lazy question. I'm not asking what problem he's facing. He wanted my toolkit, I given him. That's it. There's a strategic question. If you say yes to this, what must you say no to? No, this is a very important question, because we are always focused on what we want to do. And there could be 10 other things that we should not be doing. But we have not identified that many times. So when this question is asked, it helps the person to identify what all he will not do. Okay, the learning question. What was the most useful or the most valuable year for you? What was the most useful thing that you did something? So he will tell you, see, I learned this, so I did this, or I did that, and it helped me to understand this, to do this. So it's a learning question. And then what is called AWE, and what else? You might find this a very ordinary question, but when the relationships are not very informal, they're more formal, and you want to break that ice. You talk a lot, discuss a lot, but you still feel that barrier. So all discussions have been done. Now you're relaxed. You can ask him, and what else? So if he has something in his mind which you are not able to speak out, maybe because of fear or whatever, So if this question will lead him to talk more about it. And there are thin questions, and there are some kind of thick questions also. So thin questions are about, they deal with something, some specific content or some words. The answers are very short, 1 or 2 words, and they're close-ended. Okay, like how are you? I'm good. Finish. Now, what are the thick questions? A thick question deals with the big picture and large concepts. The answers are involved, complex, and open-ended. It could be like, what if, how did, why did, what would happen if, what cause, what might, how would you feel if you do this or that, why do you think things like this, and so on. So these are called thick questions. Now here is a matrix. There are 6 things, that present, past, possibility, probability, prediction, and imagination. And in this context, you might want to ask question about the event, about a situation, or about a choice, or about a person, or reason, or means. Now, you don't really have to remember this, just to make you aware that these are the dimensions in which we often ask questions. And the most of the questions that you will find, they are saying that they are concerned with what, where, when, who, why, and all that. So I just wanted to draw your attention to this matrix, that you may even want to use this kind of. Now we have discussed so many things, serious things, so many types, and all that. Now let's be let's talk something okay, which is on lighter note. It's not something serious kind of thing. This type, that type, comparing this type versus that type becomes a very dry kind of talk. I would like you people to at least smile, if not laugh. So for that, I added some slides. I would request you that you may unmute your speakers if there's no background disturbance. Why? Simply because, see, we are not sitting in a classroom, so I may not be able to see the smile on your face. But at least if you happen to laugh, it is not mandatory to laugh, but if you happen to laugh, it might reach me. Thank you. Now, first, there's a story. Some of you might have even heard of it. Let me narrate. There's a new CEO appointed in a company, big company. This CEO was known to be very strict, hard taskmaster, and very quick in taking decisions. So as soon as he joined, he started visiting the various offices and factories and all that. So one fine day, he reached one factory. It was about lunchtime that he reached. And near the door, near the entrance, he found that this man is just leaning against the wall and having a look at his phone. My God, it blew his top. He got angry, very angry. He called that man, hey, come here. Of course, the CEO was not alone. There was a factory manager with him. So he tried to interrupt. So, sir, just wait. I'm talking to him. So he called him, asked him, what is your salary? He said, so much, sir. He took out the check. Again, the factory manager tried to interrupt. Sir, please don't. Sir, please listen to me. You please wait. Okay, what is your salary? You said so much. Okay, he wrote the check, 3 months okay, salary, gave him the check. Here is your 3 months salary. Take this and don't come here again. He said, okay, he took the check and went away. Then the CEO turned to the factory manager. Now tell me, what is that you wanted to tell me? He said, sir, you tell me what work he was doing here. He said, sir, I was trying to tell you that this person doesn't work here. He has come to deliver pizza and waiting to collect the change. So the point is, do ask questions before deciding. Now this CEO took this decision, paid that pizza fellow 3 months salary for nothing. Now let's have some more things. Sometimes you may feel like you're pulling legs of your friends, or do some pranks. That you can do by asking questions. No, look at this prank. This question was asked, may I ask you one question? The answer was, you already asked. Then the other person said, okay, may I ask you 2 questions? I said, you just asked. Then the other person thought, okay, this is the trick. So he said, may I ask you 4 questions? He said, you asked? You asked. Then he said, when? The answer is, just now. So, when you are saying, may I ask you a question and this and that, you are trying to be extra polite. Of course, you should be polite by all means, no doubt about it. But, for every okay, now and then you don't have to be too much of polite. And knew that it just was not one question. When you get the answer, you might have some other questions also. So you may still ask this kind of question that may I ask you one question, but the chances are that if the person on the other side is like me, he might pull your legs and the dialogue might go like this. So be careful. Then let's consider some wrong questions. See, one could be, asking counter question could be good. Many times it helps. It helps you a lot. But I know a story that it turned out to be a disaster for a person. Disaster, I must tell you. What is that story? There was a religious leader. He was very pious, humble, godly, saintly person. And he decided to go to America. So his friends, his disciples, his colleagues, his advisors, everybody told him, well, if you are going to America, fine, but be careful from the press reporters over there. Then why? What are they going to do? They may ask you some nasty questions. If they ask you some nasty questions, I will not answer. Please don't do that because they will take out some meaning even out of that. So please answer all the questions, but be careful. I said, okay. So he goes to US. As soon as he lands the airport, he's surrounded by press reporters. And the press reporter asks him a question. Sir, are you going to visit our nightclubs? Now this question is asked to a religious leader who is a pious, saintly, godly kind of person. And these people asking this kind of question. He got annoyed, he got angry. But then he remembered the advice given to him. So he cooled down and he said, I will not answer this question in his mind, but said, no, I must answer this question. So he very quietly, peacefully asked a counter question. Do you have nightclubs in America? When he asked that question, there was a pin drop silence. The person who had asked that question, he didn't say anything, and other press reporters also did not say anything. And that religious leader went away. He was very happy. He felt that now, I handled them very well. Now, I asked such a counter question, just silence everybody. Now, this happiness lasted till next day morning until he opened the newspaper. There was a headline. Mr. So-and-so, the religious leader, as soon as he landed America, the only question that he asked, do you have nightclubs in America? So this is the disaster that happened to him. So be careful while asking counter questions. Though they could be very useful, they could come very handy. Then there are some people who have the habit of asking the questions for the sake of asking. I don't know whether you have seen this movie where Paresh Rawal played a role where the person was in a habit of asking questions. So on his forehead also there is a question mark. So there are some people like that you come across. I came across one person, so I would like to quote that example. So I asked the person, he was sitting on the next table. I asked him, hey Satish, can you please lend me an eraser? Just needed, I was doing some work, manual handwritten work, and I wanted to erase something. It's a very minor thing that I asked. No, Satish asked me, do you want a new eraser or a used one? I said, any eraser would do. Then he asked me another question. Do you want ink eraser or pencil eraser? I said, come on, please give me any eraser. Then he asked me, do you want a branded eraser or any other? I said, looks, Satish, I need an eraser. Give me any kind of eraser. Okay, eraser, used one, new one, ink eraser, pencil eraser, branded or not branded, any eraser. And then what Satish said? Sorry, but I don't have an eraser. Oh my God. I got so angry. I said, Satish, if you didn't have this, why did you ask me so many questions? But some people enjoy to irritate others by asking questions, or they have that natural curiosity and they just want to know. Many times you attract sarcasm by asking wrong questions. How can wrong questions attract sarcasm? Okay, this sarcasm many times is preceded by anger. Let's see some examples. You are gone for a movie. You are in a theater, and somebody meets you outside just before you get into the cinema hall. Okay, you are waiting there, and a stupid question is asked to you by somebody. Hey, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? What the hell it means? So that you feel how stupid this person. I come to the cinema hall. What for? To watch cinema, right? But that anger you hide and and give a sarcastic reply. Don't you know I sell popcorn over here? No, the other person might laugh, but at least you get a satisfaction that you have given vent to your anger by sarcasm. Yeah, okay, another just stupid question that is being asked. In a bus, a heavy lady wearing pointed high-heeled shoes steps on your feet and then asks you a stupid question. Sorry, did that hurt? What the hell you mean? If you experience that, you are angry. First you are in pain, and when you hear this question, you are angry. But you are a polite person, so you use your sarcasm to answer that. Say, no, not at all. I'm on local anesthesia. Why don't you try again? So that expresses your anger also, and then at the same time, you use sarcasm. There are some more questions. You receive a call at home on landline. Remember it's a landline call, not on your mobile phone. And you know that okay, what other person asks? Are you at home? What the hell you mean? How can I carry my landline elsewhere? So that anger you hide behind the sarcastic answer, and that answer, no, I'm doing scuba diving. I'm under the water now. I'm talking to you. This is how you use sarcasm. Sometimes you are woken up at the midnight by a phone call. So you are fast asleep, and somebody calls you and asks you very apologetically that, sorry, were you sleeping? Oh my God. Now, come on, what else you could be doing at the midnight, right? No, you sarcastically answer, no, I was doing research on whether monkeys in Africa marry or not. And you thought I was sleeping? You dumb-witted moron? No, similar question was asked to my friend by his boss. His boss called him at the middle of the night and asked him, hey, what are you doing? He said, what are you doing at the middle of the night? He said, sir, what else can I do? I'm getting ready to go to the office. So, we all have this sarcasm, and when this kind of questions come in, either we get very angry or we control our anger and give it a vent by using our sarcasm. Now, here are some tips for asking questions. And first and foremost, the most important thing is that you have to decide on your objective before asking the question. Now you know that somebody has come or coming to discuss something with you, or just casually some discussion is happening. Before asking, just ask yourself what is that you want to know. So that have that clarity, and then you think of the question that you want to ask. So first think about what is your objective, why you want to, what is that you want to know, and then ask him question, and then determine in your mind what is this type of question. So you don't have to remember all the times. but you can simply say that this question is open-ended or is it a closed one. Will it reflect thinking? Will it give me more information? Will it give okay with detail? Will it tell the logic or whatever? So first think of the question and then think of the type and then determine that is the correct type to ask. So know this. I had taken a minute to tell you, but once you start doing this, it will happen in fraction of seconds in your mind. Then, more importantly, consider the mindset of the person whom you are asking questions. That person might be frustrated, or he might be tired. Something. Looking at him, looking at his face, looking at his body language, try to guess. Guess, of course, it will be a guess. You will never know what the mindset is, but guess that and accordingly choose the right type of question that you might want to ask. Many times, as we discussed in our example, we end up in offending the other person by our question. Why did you do that? If I ask him in this way, he might feel offended. He was expecting you to support him or praise him, and instead of that, asking him why and putting him on defensive. But actually, you are curious to know about it. So you let that curiosity come out of your question, out of your tone, out of your body language. See, many times people ask rhetorical question. The other person is confused because since it is the thought is put in question form, the other person thinks that he is expected to answer, and then you tell him, no, don't worry, I'm not asking you, I'm just thinking aloud. So avoid with this kind of thing. See, asking right questions is not easy, but if you practice it and experiment, practice and experiment, and it's ongoing exercise. It's not a one-time thing. So if you have at the back of your mind the various types that we talked about, you in front of you, you have the person, his background, if you know, his mindset, if you know, his body language, which you can see, and then you can use that science and art and ask people right questions.
Rajeev sir, hello.
Remember that you are not asking questions to Alexa or Google. You can't say, Alexa, what is this? Is this? No, you can't do that. So you are not doing that, right? So always keep in mind the human aspect. See, there is nothing like this question is right and that question is wrong. It depends upon who is asking, whom it is being asked, in what context, in what manner, and how it is received. How it is asked is one part, and how it is received is another part. So these are the some of the tips.
Rajeev sir, hello.
Today morning,
Hello.
on LinkedIn, I happened to read this.
Rajeev ji.
Rajeev ji, hello.
And it touched
Hello.
me. What he
Rajeev
wrote,
sir.
that one of the habits that worked wonders for me in thinking in questions, not thinking of questions, thinking what question to ask, but thinking in questions.
Hello, Rajeev
Back in
sir.
college, we used to play a fun game. We would all speak.
Hello.
Rajeev sir, hello.
Hello, Rajeev sir. Can you hear us?
What happened here?
Hello, Rajeev sir. Hello.
Hello.
What's happening?
Rajeev sir.
Something has gone wrong somewhere. Yeah. Now I'm on the right slide. I don't know.
Rajeev sir, hello, hello, Rajeev sir.
So
Hello.
what he said that back in college we used to play a fun game. We would all speak
Mangesh,
only questions, no sentences, only questions allowed. And further he added that I still play the game in my head every day. Now this is something new to me. When I read, I was amazed. I had not tried that. I never thought of thinking in terms of questions only. There's no answer, but answer is also another question. Maybe it could be a worthwhile to try this out, maybe with your friends, maybe with your family. See if it works for you. Unfortunately, Ankur had not given any examples. Had he given examples, it would have helped for us. But thinking in terms of questions or having a dialogue in terms of questions is something amazing. It could turn out to be amazing. We don't know. So this is an advice that even I will, I would like to talk. I try this out. I have not tried. I read it today morning, so I thought that this is something interesting, something useful. So people,
Rajeev sir, hello, Rajeev sir.
you might want to try that.
Mangesh, call him. I don't know what is the problem. He can't hear us.
A question: can you make impossible possible? I repeat the question: can you make impossible possible? By asking questions. The answer is, common you say, Rajeev, obvious here. Your question is embedded with the answer. You are saying there is something impossible, right? So how can you ask this question? Now let us take some examples of some impossible things that many of us might consider. Can I live a balanced life? Answer: impossible. Can I overcome my laziness? Well, I think twice. Several times I tried, but no, it has not worked. So it is impossible. Can I prevent overreaction? When somebody says something, I quickly react. That is fine, but many times I regret later that it was an overreaction. So can I prevent that from happening? No, impossible. Can I resolve all my conflicts? Yeah, I have conflicts everywhere. I have dilemmas also. Can I resolve them? I think, see, in this world, we have to live with conflicts. This is the philosophy that we adopt. We say it is impossible. Okay, this is regarding to me as an individual. What about my work? What about my company? Can I dramatically increase profitability of my company? Dramatically? I don't think. We might be able to increase it here and there a bit, but dramatically increasing the profitability? Impossible. Can I turn around a loss-making business? My business is making a loss, and can I turn it around and start making huge profit? Impossible. I have a long list of reasons, and all those reasons will come to my mind when this question is asked, and I will say impossible. Okay, can I benefit from these constraints? Well, constraints are the things that are restricting me, and you're asking me, can I benefit from them? Impossible. See, these are the questions that are limiting our beliefs. Our beliefs, we have some limiting beliefs, so that's why we think that these things are impossible. Well, we have experienced that, it's not blindly, but then we have this belief. It's not necessarily a truth. Dr. Alan Bernard,
Rajeev ji,
and he came up with something very interesting, which I would like to share with you.
Rajeev ji, can you hear me?
To overcome the limiting belief that something is impossible, just ask yourself, it is impossible unless. Now, why this unless? What happens? It will do a magic. What magic it will do? When you say that this is impossible, and if I ask you unless, then you will start defining the conditions for making it possible. Okay, don't believe? Let's take a few examples of the same thing that we considered impossible. So our style is, it is impossible to do this or achieve this or something unless. It is impossible to live a balanced life unless. When I ask this question, what comes to your mind? What are the conditions that are required for you to meet so that you live a balanced life? So where does it take you? It takes you to some action which will make it possible for you to live a balanced life. It is impossible to overcome my laziness unless you have never thought that why are you lazy? you are lazy. Are you lazy in everything? Or there are things where you are over enthusiastic, or at least to some you have some level of enthusiasm, and for some certain things you are lazy. So have you looked at it? Why you don't want to do them? Is there any fear behind that, or you are fearing your success of doing that? Could be. So that question, unless, will help you to identify those limiting conditions, those things that you have accepted as gospel truth and can't be changed. So simple thing like overreaction. Can we really not control our overreaction? Well, it is impossible. My temper is like that. Is that you will give all excuses. Then you really, if you sit back and say, unless, then you will think that yes, if I develop a habit to take a pause before reacting, maybe I might be able to control it. So if you have thought of some solution, you will try it. You may succeed, you will not succeed. If you succeed, you will make it a habit. If you will not succeed, you will try to find another way by asking the same question. Unless, see, we should never close anything by getting only one solution. If we'll try this solution, if it works, it is fine. If it doesn't work, let us accept it that this is impossible. Let's let's do away from that mentality. There can be n number of solutions if we really look for them. So here, whatever that mindset that we have developed, that this is impossible. So when you think of that, when that question comes to your mind, ask yourself, unless, or say you are sitting with your team and you are deciding your targets and goal, and you say that let us take this as a target, and the whole team stands up and says, no, sorry, this is impossible. So you will repeat, it is impossible to double our profitability or whatever goal that you want to set, unless, then there is a pin drop silence. So that will make them think that, sir, we need to improve this, we need to improve that, we need to get this, we need to buy that. They will come up with 100 ideas. So it is not impossible, but it is, we have accepted it. It is impossible, so that's why it is impossible. So like that, there are several things that are impossible, that we are accepted as impossible. So what you can do from this? What is your takeaway from this? Is that you please choose any one of these things that you consider impossible, or something outside of this that you have considered that is impossible. You have given up, and ask this question to yourself, unless, and just don't jump into action on the first thought that comes to your mind. Think of many conditions that you might need. Don't think of solutions. Think of the different conditions that you need, so that you make this anhoni ko honi. You make this possible, and then systematically find out the ways and means to meet those conditions. And I'm sure if you do that, you will definitely succeed. Just to share with you my personal experience. No, I was not aware of this. I learned about this very recently, very recently. But there was a time when I had stage fear. I'd never taken any training. I stammer. My voice is not good. This is my belief. My face is not really that attractive. So I believed that it is impossible for me to stand on the stage or stand in front of some crowd and talk, give a talk, deliver a talk. Now, I accepted that, so I was living in that world. But the situation changed. I grew in my career, I became a manager, and there was a time when I had to conduct some training. Now, since it was a new thing that we were doing in the company, and I was given that task of implementing, I was the one who was most knowledgeable on that. So it was very obvious that none else but me, I will have to do that training. So I got damn scared. Now, how do I do that? So I sat down and said that, first let me prepare a presentation. I prepared that, then I stood in front of the mirror and delivered it to myself and observed how I talk, how I look, what is my body language, what are my facial expressions. And then I delivered it, and thereafter I never looked back. So asking this question, unless, you know, you're taking that task of making something impossible, but most you're desirable for you. You want it, you really want it. Pick up that thing and make the statement. It is impossible for me to do this unless, and when you do that, what will happen? You will get ideas which will say even pig may fly, pig may even fly kind of ideas. What is this pig may even fly? Okay, pig may fly even kind of ideas. These are the ideas that you are saying that if this happens, if I am able to achieve this, then the other thing will become possible. Now, how to make that happen, you don't know. So you are just saying that if this happens or that happens and that happens. So there are a variety of ideas, and as of now, you don't know how to do that. For you, it is something like if pig flies, then this will happen. So don't feel discouraged if your ideas are like that. In fact, just to share my experience with theory of constraints, there are many ideas, many solutions are like this. That even pig may even fly kind of thing. Dr. Goret said that you first record, write down that idea, and then figure out. Because if you are able to do that, the advantages are tremendous. If that is the case, you will strive very hard, you will be very creative, and find and make the pig fly. You have that ability. You know how Wright brothers did that. Did they know that it is easy for them to fly? But they created aeroplane, right? So you can also see all of us have talent. Only problem is we don't use it, right? So just by asking a question, unless ask that question, and it will open up many doors for you. Now this is the final slide. This is what Albert Einstein said, and it is a very thought-provoking thing, very important thing. This is a real takeaway for us. That if I had an hour to solve a problem and my life depended on it, I would use first 55 minutes determining proper questions to ask. Determining proper questions to ask. That is the importance of asking the right questions. Even Albert Einstein, he felt that if you have only 1 hour before you act on it, he will say after that, I will spend majority of the time, 55 minutes, I will think on determining what are the right questions. And once I determine right questions, solution will come, problem will get solved. So with this, I end my today's presentation, and now it is question and answer. I think I just, okay, today I happened to finish early. Last time I took longer, but today I finished early. But if I finish early, I think I did too. If I had time, I have one quiz for the people. May I do that, please? So you need to allow
Sir,
me to.
yes, can you hear us, sir?
We have time, right?
Yes, we do have time. Can you hear
I'm
me?
not able to hear you.
Can you check that?
Okay, I need only 5 minutes.
That's fine.
Okay, I'm not able to hear you.
We are not able to hear anyone from our side.
Okay, somebody else, please tell me. I'm not able to hear Ram Kumar.
Sir, I've sent you Ram, call him here, Ram.
I think my speaker was off. Okay, can I take 5 more minutes, please?
Yeah, can you hear us now, sir?
Yes, yes.
Okay, we were trying to reach you earlier also,
So long we were trying
but
to
I
reach you,
think,
sir.
yeah, now we can hear you and we have time. So definitely you can take the quiz, sir.
Okay. Okay, are you able to see my screen or I need to do something?
You need to share the screen once again, sir.
Okay. So here is a quiz. Now you are, okay, are you able to see?
Yes.
Are you able to see?
Yes, yes, yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Sir, yes.
Assume that you are in a jail. You are behind the bars. Now that this jail has two doors. One door leads to the freedom. If you are able to get out of that door, you will be set free. But if you happen to go out of the other door, you will be sent to another prison. Each door is guarded by a guard. There are two guards on these doors. One door leads to the freedom that I told you, and the other leads to prison. Now, there is a peculiarity with these two guards. One of them always speaks truth, but which one? Okay, we don't know. And the other one always tells lies. So you got the situation. You are in a jail. There are two doors, and okay, one of the doors leads to the freedom. Another door leads to another jail, and on each door there is one guard each. So one of them always speaks truth, and the other one always tells lies. Now you are allowed to ask only one question to any one of them. Any one of the guards, you can ask only one question. So frame the question so that you find the door of freedom. Now this is the quiz. You think over it. Okay, we don't have to solve it. If you solve it, you can send it to me on on WhatsApp. And if you could not, then you ask me. I'll give you the answer. So with that, I close my session.
Okay. Mangesh,
Yeah, Ram.
would you be asking the questions?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Rajeev, sir. Can you hear us, Rajeev, sir?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for setting the stage for the participant to ask the right questions now. So I'll start the Q&A session with first question, which is from Mr. Karthik Swaminathan. His question is, any specific peculiarities you notice in how people question in India, specific to the region?
Yes, very much. Well, now I was first say that you confess that my reach of our country is limited. Though I have gone to many parts of our country, I haven't interacted with lakhs of people. Though we are 130 plus crore people, but the people that I have seen closely, I find that in certain kind of people, sarcasm is the key. More often than not, they ask a sarcastic question. People ask negative questions. They don't ask whether you will be how it will be successful. They ask about what will make it fail. So that kind of thing happens and is a human. Now, if you see that based on geography, people's mindset also different because geographical problems are different. So there is no one thing that in India people ask questions like this or that. It varies from place to place and people to people and from their background also. So sorry, I don't think I have a good answer to your question.
Okay, thank you, sir. Next question is very industry specific, which is from Mr. Yogesh Joshi. So his question is, he's into B2B software business. So what type of question would work best during the discovery call or the meeting? So the first meeting. He's into B2B software business.
Yeah. Okay, first meeting with the client you are saying, right?
Yes. The first call.
Yeah. Now, I don't know, but what I would advise you to do is that I'm assuming that you have done enough homework about the client, right? Typically, people go and talk about their features of their product, software product if you're talking about. that it does this, it does that, and all that, instead of identifying what is the critical need of the client. They assume that the client needs this software, only I have to praise my software. Because say you are not the only one who is selling that kind of software. Okay, there could be something what is called, you can make a mafia offer or unrefusable offer to your client, provided you have done certain things. Now, theory of consent, again and again, I'm referring to theory of consent, but it shows the way as to how you can create and sell unrefusable offer to your clients. Now, what is the first question? There's no meaning like it is very difficult to say that this is the first question. It all depends upon the background, what you know, what you don't know, and what clients knows about you. So sorry, again, I don't have a good answer to this question.
Okay. Next question is from Mr. Bhushan Modak. Again, it's a specific question. His question is in context to the cold calling, which So, what kind of questions which will help you when you make the cold calling? This question is from Mr. Bhushan Modak.
See, now let me share with you my experience of receiving your such calls. I think all of you also must be experiencing that. No, if you have not done any homework, I get calls, sir, do you want a loan? Do you want credit card? Do you want this? In fact, on the other day, I received a call saying that your policy is getting, your insurance policy is getting terminated. Should I cancel it? I should go ahead and cancel it because I never bought any policy from you. No, you should be making cold calls, no doubt about it, if you want to increase the sale. But do some homework, find out what problem that person is facing, and maybe identify the biggest problem and ask him that, sir, are you facing this problem? No, imagine if I face some problem and I don't know where to look for the solution, and I get a call, sir, are you facing this problem? I will be zapped. How do you know? I will be more inquisitive, I will be more curious in talking to you. So cold calling per se, sir, hello, so-and-so, I'm so-and-so, and we are this product, this feature, this feature. No, this is not cold calling, this is wasting time. Cold calling necessarily has to precede with a study of your client. Then only it can give, there's a chance that you will get some good result.
Yes, Rahul, I'll take last two questions, then I'll hand it to you. Yeah. One interesting question again, Rajeev sir.
Yeah.
What kind of question we should be asking to our subordinates in office to get the desired result from them?
Yeah. No, you want to get a desired result, right? And you want to ask questions to get that desired result. Now, if you believe that by asking questions you will get results, I think you are in the wrong lane. Unless, you see, there's a question, unless you have created a proper system, you have set up a good system. Again, I'm referring to theory of consents. If you have implemented theory of consents in your office, we teach people what questions to ask for, for different things. If somebody has come with improvement proposal, or even if you want to know the progress, we have certain ways and means to ask and to get the information. See, again, just because you're a boss, you don't have to ask questions. If you have the information with you, make use of that information. And as a boss, you should regard yourself as you are the first assistant of your team. If there are any problems, it is your job to resolve it. So you have to be a facilitator. You are an enabler for them. You are not the one who is a hard task master having a stick in your hand and driving them. If you hold that kind of views, good luck to you.
Thank you, Rajeev sir. The last question of the session is, can you just summarize the process of asking the right question in 5 major bullet points?
Yeah, actually I did that, right? I showed one slide.
But you had shown the classification of questions. These are typically classified into 11 categories. Just for the benefit of the participants, just 5 bullet points they should keep in mind while asking the right question.
Sure, I'll just open my correct slide. and I will share that. People can take a photograph of that so that you know.
Meanwhile, any of the participant would like to answer the question which is raised by Rajeev sir, the quiz question.
Yeah, my screen sharing is going to stop. I don't know why.
I can. Can I, Mangesh?
Yeah, definitely, Ram.
One
Just
minute,
let him answer the last question, then you can answer the quiz. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so this is what I talked about. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, sorry, the sixth one is extra, asking a rhetorical question. But otherwise, first you should be clear about your objective, what you want, what you want to know, and then think of the questions that you want to ask and determine the type. So, okay, why to determine the type? Because you know what impact it will have. Third thing, that be human and okay, consider the mindset of the other person. You are not asking this question to Alexa, right? They're asking to a human being. So have that in mind, and then make sure that you don't offend the other person by asking the way you are asking. And the most important thing is that make use of the answer. If you ask questions, you get answer, and then that's it. You don't make any use of it. The other person wonders, why did he ask me this? If he's not going to make use of it. So these are the 5 questions that one can ask. I hope this answers your
Yes,
question.
sir. Yeah. Thank you, sir. I'll just request you to stop screen, and with your kind permission, Ram Kumar from 10 would like to answer the
Yes, sure,
question.
Sure,
Yeah, Ram, please go ahead.
I don't know if this would be right, but what I thought is that if there are two guards, one of them who tells the right answer and another who is telling the wrong answer, then maybe I could ask one of the guard, am I in the prison right now? If he says yes, then maybe he's truthful. If he says no, then he's telling a lie, and then I know which guard can take me to the the right freedom gate.
Yeah, but you cannot ask second question.
No, I'm not asking second question. I'm asking only one question.
Yeah,
To
but
one
you
of the
don't know.
guards. To one of the guards, am I in the prison right now? If he says yes, then he's answering, he's being truthful. So I know he's a truthful guard.
But how will that help you, Ram, reach the right gate?
Correct. Which door is a door of freedom? That you don't know.
Ah, okay. I need to determine both in one question, you're saying.
Yes.
You can ask 3 to 4 supplementary question, one question. Comma, 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 comma.
Okay, may I leak the answer?
Yes, sir. Please answer that.
Okay. The answer is a question actually, because I'm supposed to ask a question. See, there are 2 guards. I go to any one guard. I don't know which door he is guarding and whether he just speaks truth or he tells lies. I don't know. So I ask a question to any one guard. I ask him, does the guard who keeps the door of freedom always speak truth? Now, should I type out this question, because usually I have to really, ponder on it and try out. I'm putting it in the chat so that everybody sees that.
Sir, also speak it out. We'll write also in the meantime.
Sorry?
Also speak it out.
Yeah. Does the guard who keeps the door of freedom speak always truth? So the question is, does the guard who keeps the door of freedom speak always truth? That's the question.
Yeah, the person, the guard who says no, that is the door to freedom, right?
See, now you, okay, let us assume that the guard says no, right? Now still we do not know whether he is guarding the door of freedom or not, but we can determine that. What is the question? Does the guard who always, who guards the door of freedom speaks truth and he says no, right? Now, if he's a liar, it means, okay, what does it mean? Okay, we have to make one assumption that let us assume that the guard who is guarding the door of freedom, he always speaks truth. And the other guard who tells lies is guarding the door of prison. And you happen to ask him that does the guard who guards the door of freedom always speak truth? Now, if he's a liar, he knows that the other person is guarding the door of freedom. Okay, the guard who speaks truth. So he will say no. So when your answer is no, you have to go by the opposite door.
Yeah, but what if question is asked to the wrong guard, sir?
No, there's nothing like wrong guard or right guard. No,
Yeah, but we can ask only one question. No?
One question. So I'm not saying you ask the other question. I'm saying that your answer is no, you go by the other door. If answer is yes, go by the same door. Now you examine this answer in the permutation combination. Then
Yes,
the
sir.
door of freedom and the liar. Door of freedom and the person truthful person. Door of freedom and the liar.
Sir, for
And
this
door of freedom
question,
and
I think we will be hunting you for
So
this
no.
permutation.
You had given some food for thought on a Saturday afternoon. So I think so most of the participants will start working on this. Thank you, sir. Over to you, Rahul.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Rajeev sir, for such a lucid insight into the art of asking the right questions. I feel we all must have realized by now the importance of the art of asking the right questions to get the right answers. We all, most of the times, I think, blame others for not providing us with the right information, but we seldom realize that it is we who fail to ask the right questions most of the times. So, thank you, sir, for making us appreciate this art. And I would now kindly request Mangesh to say the vote of thanks, and then I'll make the concluding remarks. I request all the participants to just be connected for the next 2 to 3 minutes. We'll end the session in next 3 minutes. Thank you. Over to you, Mangesh.
Rahul, today's vote of thanks will be presented by Ram Kumar.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Ram.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Rahul. Rajeev, Athavale ji, the second session of yours, this is today's was the second session. We had one last Saturday too. And both these sessions were really informative, really quite insightful. Today's session was full of questions. I didn't know that the art of asking questions would have so many questions itself in the entire presentation. But it was provoking and it was refined. And I think the vote of thanks is a reflective question, because I have to reflect on what you said in the entire presentation, kind of, right? I think, there were a few things that I really understood. That one is that asking questions for some is a profession, like for lawyers, journalists, etc. It's a profession. Without that, they can't lead their profession. And for some, it's a way of life, like for parents, teachers, managers, business owners, etc. Counter questions are good to ask, but it may not always lead to the right answer for you. It can take you the other way too. So be careful if you were to ask a counter question. And unless questions can help you do better in life, it's better not to ask a question. That's what I think. It's a simple philosophy that you need to follow. Don't ask a question for the sake of asking. Be human in your approach and be positive, so that you are asking questions which can lead to a certain positive objective at the end of the day. And you can move fastest if you know where you are headed. So asking the right questions, knowing the types of questions, and all those things that you shared today will help any business owner or anyone in their life to move more faster, because he will know both where he is headed and how to reach there. So I think that is what the entire session is been helpful for us. Thank you so much for this session once again, Rajeev sir. Over to you, Rahul.
Yeah, thank
for
you.
the closing
Ram.
remarks.
Thank you, Ram, for your vote of thanks. So I will make the concluding remarks now, and then we'll end this session. So friends, what you saw today is what 10 members share every week: positive energy, knowledge about what's happening in the industry, support to any operational problem that is beyond our domain expertise, an opportunity to learn from and mentor fellow entrepreneurs. An added benefit is a chance to attract a lot of business. So who should join 10 and why? Budding or established entrepreneurs are welcome to join 10. 10 is committed to support, promote, and develop entrepreneurs, and our activities are focused on building the entrepreneur community. So please take a call on becoming a part of 10. The annual membership was rupees 15,000, but owing to the COVID situation and less physical meetings happening, we have cut down our fees to 10,000 for this year and one-time registration fees of 2,000. So kindly take a call on this and become a part of 10. So thank you all for attending and making a positive contribution to the meeting. I end this meeting thanking all the participants, the speaker, and the 10 office bearers for this session today. Thank you all and have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ram.
Keep asking right questions.
Thank you to all the participants.
Thank you all. Thank you all.